I want to talk about the energy of okay for a minute here. In our society, there's this really weird kind of vibe around the word okay. You know, we use it to affirm something. Hey, you going to be there? You know, I'm going to be over at 8. Okay, right? We use it to affirm something that we've heard something. But we use it as an emotion as well. We use okay as a way to describe kind of a sense of contentment within us. And yet, when we use the word okay rather than content, it really can kind of shift the way we're looking at things, right? It can kind of cause us to start feeling like, oh, well, I'm only okay. Whereas, you know, I am content. It has a lighter energy to it, right? So I think it's really important to understand that being okay is okay. There is no reason why you need to feel anything other than okay if okay is what you're presently feeling. There's also no reason to feel like things need to be better or worse than okay in order to be valid. You know, I had this problem in my business for years where I would go to create something and then I wouldn't share it because it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't magnificent. It wasn't, you know, my Oprah moment. It was just okay. And it really held me back. I thought people wouldn't receive me as being okay. I thought that the only way that people would receive me was if I was great or magnificent or perfect. Perfect. That's a really big one in our society. Things have to be perfect. We have to polish it. We have to remove all of the mistakes. We have to remove all of the things that we believe are not good enough. Well, then we start to question ourselves. We start to doubt ourselves. Well, if it's not okay, then what is it, right? Or if it's not perfect, then what is it, right? Well, it's okay. It's okay, right? When we switch the meaning of okay, when we stop allowing okay to have this kind of negative, drawn, pushed down kind of meaning to it, when we allow okay to be okay, what it truly is, when we allow okay to just be okay, be what it's meant to be, it's so much easier for us to allow ourselves to flow and to move because we stop resisting the feeling of okay and we stop resisting the momentum for fear of okay not being good enough. The number of times that I held myself back, do you realize if I was to put all of that content out and not worry about the fact that it was okay and not amazing, if I didn't worry about that fact, the people who were supposed to receive the message would have received the message perfectly. Now, I don't regret this. You know, I think we hold ourselves back. It is what it is. Everything happens in divine timing. We need to honor that. I'm not holding this against myself. Yet imagine how different things might be if I was to allow okay to be okay. So when I try to imagine things as being different, I don't do it in a negative way. It's not like, wow, my life could be so much better if I had just done that. I don't like looking at things that way. I imagine instead, if I was to make that change right now, what would my life start looking like? Imagine if I started doing this differently now. Imagine if I gave myself the permission to be okay now. I've already learned the lesson of what it means to not accept my okayness. Now, what if I move into the lesson of what it means to accept it? What if I move into the lesson of what it means to have okay be plenty? To accept my okayness, to accept that when I do something and it's okay, I trust that it's still going to get the message out there. It's still going to meet the people it's meant to meet. It's still going to have the impact it was meant to have. We worry, especially on social media, that if we were to post something that was only okay, you know, okay was the only energy with it, that it won't get enough likes or it won't get enough comments or people aren't going to pay attention to it or it's not going to be enough to really create the traction we want. We want every post to be a viral post. We want people just rolling in everything we say, excited, you know what I mean? Like we have these visions in our mind that everything has to be so amazing. And when we stick to that, we really perpetuate or create our inner sense of suffering because we're not allowing anything else. Now, don't take this as me saying you should keep your standards low or anything like that. This isn't about not wanting to be great. This is about accepting that part of being great is being okay. Okay is on the path to great, right? You can't be great without also being okay. You have to move up that emotional ladder from okay to great. You have to move up the perceived ladder from okay to great. That's how we get there. We grow, we learn, we create, we provide, we see what works, we do more of that, and then we reach great. We practice, and we move from okay to good to great, right? So imagine right now if you were to accept the lesson of okay. If you were to accept that when you do something and it is okay, meaning that you can't find problems with it, and maybe it's not your knockout work, but you feel like it's okay. Imagine if you were just to go with it. Imagine if you were just to put that out there. Take the pressure off yourself. Take the expectations of greatness off yourself. Take the expectations of perfection off yourself and be happy with okay. Embrace okay. Embrace that you are at a point in your life where you are in the season of okay. You are in the season of allowing things to be okay. In all areas of your life, when you're putting content out for your business, when you're, reaching out for a friend and you want to talk to your friend and you're not necessarily in a big peppy mood, and yet you're okay and you trust that they'll receive you as okay, or your spouse, or your work, or yourself, receiving yourself as okay. Imagine if you were to just embrace the season of okay. Imagine what would change in your life. Imagine the momentum. You know how I feel about momentum. Imagine the momentum you would build for yourself by embracing the energy of okay first. This doesn't mean greatness is not coming. In fact, often the things I put out that are just okay turn out to be some of the greatest content I create. Yet my perception here on earth leads me to believe that it's not good enough, right? Or it's only okay, it's not amazing. But imagine if you were just to embrace that season and you were just to start acting okay. Either you're going to discover that okay is a lot better than you thought it was, or you're going to allow okay to become the stepping stone to great. Either way, you still win. Either way, you release the resistance around okay, and you allow yourself to be. So if there's one message I can give you today, it's embrace the season of okay. Embrace the okayness. Be okay with being okay, because it's okay to be okay. It's a perfectly fine emotion. And if anyone tells you otherwise, that's okay. Because you're okay, and you are being okay in your season of okay. Okay?